Hey everybody, in this section we're going to talk about properties of logarithms. We're going to go pretty quickly because you guys should already have seen these. Okay, so we're going to quick remind you what the properties are, and then we'll do a couple examples of how to use them. Okay. Okay, so the first property has to do with when you are adding two logs. This is the same as multiplying the interior part here. Okay, if you're subtracting them, okay, that's the same as dividing the inputs. Okay, and then the last one that we're going to look at here is what happens when you have an exponent. Okay, so if you have an exponent inside, you can bring that exponent out as a coefficient. Okay, so like I said, you should be familiar with these. These work for any base, including the special bases log base 10 and log base e. Okay, so let's do an example of expanding. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is split up this product because we have three things here. Okay, and then we're going to bring down this exponent as a coefficient. Okay, and that's it fully expanded. You could use log properties to rewrite this also. If you wanted to write this as 2 squared, then you could write this as 2 log 10 of 2, okay? But that's really optional in this example, just because it doesn't say specifically in the directions how you would do that or why you would do it. Okay, let's look at a little bit trickier one of these. Okay. All right, so if you have something like this, it's okay to check if you can simplify the fraction on its own first. You can see here that you can't do that, but sometimes you can using just like exponent rules and other techniques. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is split this up into numerator and denominator. Okay, and then now we're going to split each one of those up, because this is still a product, right? Okay, and then we're going to split up this product also. Okay, I just wanted to point out that because both of these terms are coming from this original term, they both have this negative coefficient. Okay, all right. Now we're going to actually evaluate this, right? Because we can evaluate this by hand. This is 2x. Okay, and for the rest of these, we're going to bring the exponents down as coefficients. Okay. All right. You can see that in the interior here, you only have like a single base, no exponents. Okay, so that means we're completely expanded here. Okay. All right. So let's see an example of the opposite of that, where we're going to contract everything or simplify it. Okay, so simplify is in general what we're doing, but to be super specific, it says to write it as a single log with coefficient 1. Okay, so we are going to do that. So let's look at an example. Okay, so the first thing you want to do when you're doing these is put the coefficients as an exponent. So we're going to do that for both of these. Okay, now 5x cubed is 125x cubed. Okay, and then here we're going to have just x. Okay, so now we're going to combine these two together, right? And because we have this minus sign, we know that we're dividing. Okay, and the last thing we're going to do is simplify this fraction here. We know we have x cubed over x. Right, so this would be our final answer. Okay, so this is what they mean, right? You can see there's a single log term and the coefficient out in the front is 1. Okay. Let's look at another example of that. Okay, so this one's a long one. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do again is pull all of the coefficients up into the exponent using that third log rule that we saw. Okay. So I wanted to point out that here you have an exponent and you're raising it to another exponent, which is why we multiply these together to get 6. Okay, so now we're ready to combine these into a single log. Okay, so all of the terms with positive coefficients are going to go into the numerator. Okay, and the terms with negative coefficients are going to go into the denominator. Okay, and now again we're going to use our exponent rules to simplify this. Okay. There we go. Okay, and this would be our final answer. All right, so let's look at the log property that's a little bit different. Okay, so this is called the change of base formula. Okay, now this is accurately named because what it lets you do is change the base from whatever you have to any other log base that you might want. Okay, so here's how it works. Okay, so you can see you can change it to a totally new base that's unrelated to what you have here. Okay, so the reason that people are normally doing this is because on your calculator you only have log base 10 and log base e. So if you're looking to evaluate something with a calculator, okay, then you're going to need to use this change of base so that you can actually put it into your calculator. Okay, so let's see an example of how you might do that. Okay, so here you can see that we have log base 2 of 3. Okay, so we want to evaluate this with a calculator. We're either going to change it to log base 10 or to natural log. So right now we're just going to change it to log base 10. Okay, so we're going to get log base 10 of the interior part, which is 3, over log base 10 of 2. Okay, then you can punch this into a calculator and you should get that it's approximately 1.58. Okay, so make sure while you're watching this video that you are able to get this with your calculator. You know how to use this function, okay, especially with the test coming up. Okay, let's look at one more like that so we can see what it looks like with the natural log. Okay, so we're going to do log base 7 of 1/4. Okay, so this would give us natural log of 1/4 over natural log of 7. Okay, again, you can use log base 10 or natural log. It really doesn't matter. You should get the same answer. Okay, and this should give you approximately negative 0.71. Okay, all right. I hope that reminds you guys of how to use the log properties. You'll see in the next section some reasons that we might want to use this one and the tricks to condense things. The reason that you really might want to expand something using the log properties isn't clear to you guys just yet, but I promise it is super useful. So I hope this reminds you guys of how to do that, and I'll see you soon.